Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Creative Crypto Show. Today is Tuesday. It's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, June 6th. We're going to get started talking about some crypto stuff here in just a moment. But first, I just want to make sure that my audio is coming through. Welcome. And it is. So what is up, everybody? If you're watching this in the Creative Crypto group, drop me a like, drop me a comment. Let me know that you're here, that you've seen this. If you're getting value, tell me that too. Or if you get value, I haven't given you anything yet. But if you get value, let me know. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like to join us in the Creative Crypto group, you can do so. The link to do that is in the description below the YouTube video. We got a great show today. I am recording, so we're good to go there. By the way, everything that I talk about today is not investment advice. It's not legal advice, not any type of advice. I'm just giving you my opinion, and I'm sharing with you what I'm doing. So just get that out of the way. As far as what we're going to talk about today, we're going to get into some world news. Not super deep, but deep enough so you know what's going on, because we have a new financial crisis that's likely to happen as the Western Civil War is intensifying in places like DC, Europe, Brazil, and other places. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the next big crypto run-up being on the horizon, meaning we're about to see the prices go up. We'll talk about why I'm saying that, but not only just me, why other people are saying that as well. We're going to look at some factors involved there. So that's the agenda. Plus, we're going to give away some Litecoin. At the end of the day, end of the show, I'll give you the keyword, the code word to claim your free Litecoin. So if you do not own any Litecoin and you would like some, I'll send it to you for free. Send you $10 worth, $10 in today's value. It might be worth $100 in next month. Who knows? But I'll send you some free Litecoin if you don't have any. I'll give you the code word at the end of this show because you'll need it to actually get the Litecoin. All right. So that's what's on the agenda for today. Let me just see if I can actually pull up the Zoom meeting here because we have somebody that's joined us. Danny is here. Welcome, Danny. I'm going to turn your mic on so that you can talk because we like to start every show with some good news. So let's talk good news. Danny, what's going on? What's some good news that's happening in your world right now? I can't hear you. Maybe my volume's down? No?
Okay, I got it. Get ready to do some traveling. So I'm really excited. So Orlando is on the horizon. So nice. Very, very excited.
Cool. Going to do some traveling. That's awesome. Cool. My good news is I'm just excited about today. I've got a lot of good stuff to talk about on the show. I've got a really good rest of the day lined up for myself. I'm excited about my calendar. And I've got a date with my daughter tonight. So that's going to be fun as well. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen and we will dive in and get into this crypto stuff. Share screen. Boom. All right, you should be able to see. So let's get started. We're going to start by going to CoinMarketCap. And let me close this off. All right, so CoinMarketCap, let's see what's going on in the market today. The total market cap is at $345 billion. That's up $10 billion from yesterday. It was $335. The 24-hour volume today is $15 billion. It's the same as yesterday. We've added 3 new coins. We got 1644 that are listed on this site. So it's 3 more than we had yesterday. And then Bitcoin dominance is roughly the same, 37.8%. Yesterday it was 37.9%. So not much of a change there. At first glance, if we look at this column right here, we see a lot of green, a little bit of red sprinkled in. So let's just check out how much green, how much red. So if we look at red, you see that there's only about a dozen of these coins that are in the red today. So this is what I would consider a green day. This is meaning last 24 hours, most of the coins on this site are up. versus down. The biggest loser is only down 7%, so that's not too bad. The biggest winner is up almost 17%. Binance Coin, it's nice. We got Eternity. I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's up almost 11%. Let's see what else we got. Anything that stands out? Vertasium up 7%. I'm a fan of that. So cool. All right, Green Day. That's always nice to see where we're setting in price. Bitcoin's at 7,600. Ethereum's at 609. Bitcoin Cash 11. EOS at 14.5, 1405. Litecoin 121. So there we go. Not a lot of change since yesterday. We're kind of going sideways a little bit. Now we're moving up and down every day, but for the last little bit, we've been going sideways. I mentioned, I think, on yesterday's show that it could potentially go sideways for quite, who knows how long. It could also potentially break out and go up or down. All right, that's a very real possibility at any time. And so not a lot of movement going on, a lot of accumulation happening. There is a lot of big money coming in. If you look at the over-the-counter market, there's a lot of big money coming in, not on or through these exchanges. And so money coming in to the crypto market that's not actually being calculated in these prices, because they're not. These prices are based off the last sales averaged on the multiple exchanges. And so not a lot going on there. I do want to take a look at the bond market, silver and gold. So let's just go to Trading View. Check out the chart. We'll just look at silver, where we are at right now. So silver is at 1652. Yesterday it was at 1639. So a little bit of growth there. You see silver's looking good for the last little bit. It's going on a little bit of a run there, so that's cool. Let's look at gold and see what gold is doing. Gold still kind of sideways. We're sitting at 1301. It's actually up a little bit from yesterday. It was 1292. So 1301. We passed that $1,300 mark. I didn't actually think it was gonna go beyond or below 1,300 again for quite a while, but then it did. And so now we're back over that 1,300 mark, which is kind of a big deal. And then let's check out this right here. Actually, END. The Vanguard total bond market. Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, no surprise, more sell-offs. Because there was this crazy $100 trillion pumping into to the market last week. Obviously, what happens after that is you got to sell it off, because this is all manipulated. This is the click of a few mouses that is being injected in here. There's definitely not that much money going into to make that price, to make that do what it's done this past week. So no surprise here that the bond market, it's going to be selling off again. It will go lower than this low right here. So below 78 is the next target. That's where it's headed. So just watch for that. All right, so that's what's going on there. Let's actually see. That's at 78.98. So that is down since yesterday, almost $1. All right. So now we know what's going on in the markets. Let me go ahead and close this, and let's see what else is going on. So the news for today, I got some world news and I got some crypto news for you. The world news I'm going to start with, because we have a new financial crisis likely as Western civil war intensifies in DC, Europe, Brazil, and other places. Now I'm pulling a lot of this news from one specific source that I read on kind of a regular basis. This guy's stuff is, he's been doing this for quite a long time. He's one of the quote unquote good guys. He's very in touch and in the know with what's going on in the world. He's got a lot of connections in the Pentagon and the military, and high up kind of connections. And so he blogs about it, and he tells basically what's going on. Now, everything this guy says is not to be taken 100%, but a lot of what he says I agree with, and it makes a lot of sense. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and log in because the article we want to read, this is a paid membership, paid news site. He charges just a few bucks a month. So let me see. I'm not going to get into that takedown of Israel. However, a couple of weeks ago, you guys might remember that I said be watching, because in the news, Israel is the next target. A lot of talk about Israel is going to be coming up as there's some issues going on there, and lo and behold, it has started. This was posted 2 days ago. Takedown of Israel may be imminent as NATO withdraws protection, which is a really big deal. There's been some change in government and official change in the regime, and so it's definitely moving in that direction. But what I want to talk about is in this particular post. So let's see. I'm not going to read the whole thing because a lot of it is, just pulling up the negative stuff and saying there's still the war going on. The good guys are actually winning. There's a couple of things that I did want to point out, though. Let me see if I can find them on here. Right here. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So other Pentagon sources, meanwhile, are saying a major victory against the Zionist-controlled banks was achieved last week as a result of that, trillions of dollars fraudulently obtained after the Lehman crisis is now going to be used for a new financial system. The sources say that a gold-backed U.S. dollar looms on the horizon, that the U.S. government is going to stop borrowing money from the banks, that Donald Trump may have succeeded in getting back perhaps $15 trillion in credits. $15 trillion in credits from the $23 to $43 trillion now known to have been stolen by the banks. And most importantly, the American public, because that's exactly what happened in the last crisis, 2008. Lots of money was stolen directly by the banks. Imagine that. So sometime in June, over $1 trillion will be released into the U.S. economy through trusted stewards, normal people, many of them veterans, to inspire job creation and new construction booms such we've never seen since the aftermath of World War II. Massive investments in mostly black inner cities and mostly white impoverished rural areas is part of this deal. All right, so this financial move, I'm just going to keep reading. This financial move is realized, if it is realized. Now, this is not a guarantee. This is a projection here, right? This is coming from this guy's Pentagon sources, which I can tell you, I've been following him for years. He doesn't put stuff out unless it's pretty solid. There's not a lot of things that he says and comes back like, oh, that's just him, just spouting off stuff. Most of what he publishes has been well researched, and it happens. Most of, not everything. And so just keep that in mind as we read this. All right. This financial move, if it is realized, and I'm going to talk about how it actually affects all of us in the crypto world here in a bit, but just listen to this. This financial move, if it's realized, is definitely connected to ongoing intrigue in Saudi Arabia, the current main financial backer of the old petrodollar. Here, de facto monarch, let's see, bin Salman has not been seen in public. There was a shootout at his palace on April 21st. That dude's dead. He hasn't been seen in public. He was shot. He basically was in the press daily. He was not a quiet person. He was in the press daily talking some kind of shit. There were shots at his house on April 21st, and he hasn't been seen in public since. My take on that is Mohammed bin Salman is dead, which is kind of a big deal. All right. This move against Salman was put in power by Israeli special forces, and this move is definitely linked to attacks on Saudi Arabia, on Saudi agent and former CIA head John Brennan. So Brennan is the guy that is being blamed as the source of the whole Russiagate thing, witch hunt that's against Trump. So let's see. I'm not going to read that. So that's just more of that. Basically, his guy going down, or this guy going down, is he was directly connected to the deep state. George Bush Sr. Is the one that kind of groomed him, and he was his protege. And now all of a sudden he's in trouble. It's causing George Sr. some stress, and he's back in the hospital. So that's not super relevant. I just think it's interesting. But let's just keep reading here because it gets really interesting about financial stuff. Let's see. They're not everything I need to, like, it doesn't, like this. So there's a trucker strike going on in Brazil. I mean, that's a big deal, but I'm not going to talk about that. Okay, so this person right here, Dilma Rousseff, she was impeached. She was impeached back in 2016 and replaced by the Zionists, the bad guys, essentially, of the central bank back in 2016. So that's reversing again. She's getting back in power, and so that's going to have some implications. We'll talk more about that later as that plays out. But let's see. What else was I going to read right here? The battle for the planet Earth is also raging in Europe. All right, here, market watchers are seeing many obvious signs that a new crisis is coming. While Germany and France are looking increasingly towards Russia and China, the situation to watch now is in Italy and Spain. You guys are hearing a lot of stuff in Italy. I literally talked about it 2 days ago, I think, maybe yesterday. Spain and Italy, especially, are going to be in the news. Be big in the news cycle over the coming weeks. To put this situation in perspective, the Italian and Spanish GDPs combined are worth more than $3 trillion. All right, that is 16 times the $194 billion GDP of Greece. Okay, and we know what happened with Greece. Well, maybe not all of us do, but there was a massive crisis with pretty much the exact same scenario. It's already happened to Greece. Only this time, the GDP is like the crisis will be 16 times bigger than the one that happened to Greece. And what happened during during that crisis is the euro almost went away. It was so close to being completely gone, like them exiting from the euro completely, which would be a massive, massive deal. And so now here we are, right on the verge of having something 16 times larger than that happen. And so there's major implications for the euro, which lead to major implications for the dollar, which lead to major boom of cryptocurrency. All right, so there's a reason I'm reading this to you. Let's connect the dots here. All right, let's read on. The Italians now have a government that plans to do something about the slow destruction of Italian economy caused by the participation in the euro by issuing a new currency to pay for various plans to fix Italy's economy. The old establishment is so upset about the new Italian government that the Italian president vetoed their candidate for finance minister because he's opposed to the euro. So there's still one dude, president, who is he's one of the bad guys, and he's still causing stuff, causing issues. They brought on the government, basically everybody, all the bad guys have been eliminated except this one or this one main guy, and the new organization has, like, they're prepared to go away from the euro and start a new currency. Like, that's the plan. They're very vocal about that. However, this guy vetoed it because his replacement, or the new finance minister, he doesn't want the euro. Like, he's on board with the new plan. He's like, when I'm in, the euro's out. Like, I'm gone. And so he was vetoed. He wasn't allowed to move forward. And so let's just keep reading. The Italian president is supposed to be a figurehead, and this anti-democratic move is going to result in an open attack on the Italian deep state. That's what I talked about yesterday. They're not even being, is democratic. Like, it's crazy, and people are going crazy about it. Italy's 5-star leader on Sunday said that the president should be impeached for betraying the state because of his rejection of the Eurosceptic as economy minister. So The fact that he did that and vetoed the new person coming in, it's a big deal. People are upset, and it also means that the bad guys they're catching a lot more heat right now. All right, they're in a pressure cooker. It's not looking good for them. All right, so here's kind of some perspective. A comparable thing is likely to happen in Spain because of similar structural problems related to the euro. These problems can only be solved by these countries either giving up economic sovereignty or issuing their own currency. There's only two ways to solve it. The governments in both countries favor issuing new currencies. That's what they want. Governments are wanting completely new currencies. However, any new currencies in Southern Europe would not only endanger the euro, they would also open the way for the big kahuna, a new currency for the United States to replace or cohabit with the no longer American US dollar. All right, a new currency is coming. In other words, the existing financial paradigm is likely to face its biggest crisis since the Lehman shock, and this time it may not survive without a complete reboot. I talked about this, debt jubilee, people completely rebooting, like the debt's got to go away. Until that happens, we can expect financial turmoil. All right, typically with these crises, the first victims will be those with the riskiest gambling portfolios. In this case, people who have been buying junk bonds and stocks at historically unsustainable prices. So those of you that have money in the stock market, sorry to tell you, it's going away. All right, might not be tomorrow, might not be next week or next month. It's going away though. All right, it's just not going to happen. As these governments and these entire countries make the decision to abandon their currency and move over, that trickles down to all of the other countries and the US included. And what happened with the stock market? Everything on the stock market is directly linked to the old system. So there you go. You have been warned in that regard. So that's kind of what's going on. That's what I really wanted to talk about, just kind of paint the picture for you guys, see what's going on. It's still, you know, good guys, bad guys. There's a lot of stuff out there. The reason I'm sharing this with you today is because it's all directly connected to crypto. So let's talk more specifically about crypto. What's actually going on in the world of crypto news? Well, the first thing is the next big crypto run, the next bull run is very, very close. In my opinion, but also in many other people's opinions. And I'm going to give you some reasons why that is right now. So the first thing is what I just told you. Multiple governments from around the world are on the brink of replacing their existing currency. Like, that's happening. This stuff isn't made up. It is happening, and it's never happened in the recent history. And so it's a big deal. It's going to shake things up. So that's one thing. And because where's that money going? Where's the new? You think they're going to create another backup paper dollar or paper euro? Absolutely not. Like that, they know that's the problem. They also know about cryptocurrency. And whenever I tie this next piece in, you'll kind of see how it all makes sense. All right. So that's the first thing. Governments around the world are abandoning their currency on the brink of replacing it completely. The next thing is more and more big money is coming into crypto. Most of it, like I said, though, is through the over-the-counter markets. It's actually easier right now to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin than it is to buy $10,000 worth, or some of these other coins. Just simply because but we do it over the counter and not through these exchanges. Because there's a lot of big money going over the counter. So a lot more people are kind of coming on board. As that gets picked up and factored into the price, and the masses that are buying on the exchange figure that out, the price will be somewhat reflected on the exchanges, and that's what makes the price go up. The other thing, if you look from the technical analysis side of things, I mentioned last week, I think there's fundamental analysis and then there's technical analysis. I'm not a huge fan of technical analysis. That's reading charts, looking at the trends, drawing triangles on the charts and saying, okay, because it's followed this pattern, it's going to do this next week or tomorrow or whatever. A lot of that is BS and just kind of guesswork. I mean, it's pattern connection, which there's some validity to it, but I don't put a whole lot of weight into it. I do look at it because it's a factor. My point is, one of the most predictable trends is what we call a wedge. Whenever you have a price that's going into a wedge is like a sideways triangle. I'm trying to make it with my hands here. So it's like a sideways triangle if you were to draw the lines. And the price of Bitcoin, if you look at the price of Bitcoin right now, it's bouncing within that wedge. So it means that at one point it was going up and down higher, and it's going up and down still, but it's getting lower and lower into the corner of this triangle. All right, and we're right to the end of this triangle. Anytime you see that kind of consolidation going into this wedge, then you can expect a breakout move one way or the other. Most of the time, the breakout move is in the direction of the overall trend. All right, and so if we're in an upward trending market, then the breakout move is likely going to be up. And it's usually, when it breaks out of the wedge, it's usually a big jump. But it also could be a big jump down or a big dip down. And so, let's see. So that's what's actually happening. That's where we're at. We're right in the corner of that little wedge. And so expect a jump one way or the other. Expect a breakout. Because of the factors that are involved, I happen to think that it's going to break out and go up. So we could literally see a $2,000+ increase or move just with Bitcoin in the next week or so. We could. Or we could continue going sideways. There's so much stuff that can always happen. I'm just giving you, kind of putting the pieces together with you here myself. So technical. So we got three things. We got multiple governments from around the world coming in. You got more big money coming in over the counter. You got technical analysis getting into the corner of a wedge. It's just ready for a breakout. And the other thing is, let's just look at the news. There's lots of good news. This is Cointelegraph.com. Let's just read through some of these headlines and see what's going on. And then I'm going to give away some Litecoin and we'll wrap up for today. But let's just look at some of this stuff. All right. Korea's unique ability to make its reverse ICO fad. Okay, let me just read these ones that don't change. Bitcoin mining firm CoinMint confirms plans for a $700 million project in upstate New York. Crypto exchange to bankroll its own blockchain with a $100 million development fund. Exclusive, world's top crypto exchange, Binance, sets up a bank account in Malta. Japanese IT giant Fujitsu launches blockchain-based reward system for retail. All right, this is a massive company that's bringing blockchain to retail. BitPay, Coinbase, others. Can anybody replace Visa? Let's look at this because I don't know if you guys seen this or not. Last week, literally, actually, June 1st, like 5 days ago. Let me open this. 5 days ago, Visa went down. It was just temporary, but literally, okay, so Visa, let's see, where did it go? Visa card payments failing in UK, Europe, highlighting the need for decentralized options. I think I posted this actually. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just read about it. I was going to see, trying to find the link to the Twitter because there was, oh yeah, Visa down. So the hashtag Visa down.
Be careful.
All right, Visa down. So these are kind of funny. I mean, I was reading these in real time as it was happening. They all stopped after June 1st because they came back up, but they went out. Nobody could use Visa, and it even trickled over into the U.S. And it was down for hours and hours. Like it's ridiculous. And so You can read through some of this. Like this will give you a sense of what it might look like if something were to happen to the big banks or to the big card companies, and it was more permanent or more long-term. There was some panic in here, so you can check that out. But that's just one other thing. I mean, you got the major banks that we talked about, the major players in the old system are having issues, and it's making it's making for a very bright looking future for crypto. Just continue reading some more news. Lots of good stuff going on, and from just reading these headlines alone, you can hopefully see that there's lots of good stuff. Like lots of people, lots of companies, lots of money's going into blockchain, and like it's a very like it's an obvious move that this is the direction that the world is going. Chinese Central Bank of China develops blockchain system to digitize paper checks. Paper checks going away. NASDAQ CEO, cryptocurrencies are at the height of hype. All right. Belgian government launches a website to warn the public against crypto scams. All right. That's what you do when you're pro crypto. You protect your people by educating them on what a scam looks like. South Africa's central banks pilot a tokenized fiat interbank payment system. Listen to this. Governments, like entire countries, the central banks of entire countries, they're all getting on board. Central bank execs conclude crypto is no threat to fiat yet. The world's largest crypto exchange invests in blockchain-based esports platform. U.S. government agency seeks feedback on blockchain for its international agenda. So lots and lots and lots of good news. You know, Volkswagen bringing blockchain to their cars, to the car industry, which is already there. Samsung is unveiling a blockchain platform. So listen, like just look at what's going on. Denmark joins the EU blockchain partnership, plans to implement tech in shipping. So everybody's getting on board. We're not talking, I mean, this is more than just a trend or a fad. Like these are countries, these are central banks, these are governments that are coming together and they're on board. This is the direction we're going. So all those four reasons that I just gave, or multiple reasons, are all signs that we may be on the brink of a new bull market. So expect to run up hopefully soon. And that's it. We're going to wrap the show with that today. Let's give away some Litecoin. To get some Litecoin, you're going to need two things. Number one, you just follow the instructions. I'm going to put a link in the description of this YouTube video. So if you're watching this on Facebook, you'll need to bounce over to the YouTube channel. Watch the video on YouTube. In the description, there will be a link to another video. That video will show you exactly what to do in order for me to send you some free Litecoin. You will need a keyword or a code word because you're going to send me an email with your wallet ID so I can actually send you the Litecoin. So in the subject line of that email, you need to include the code word, and today's code word is bullish. Bullish. All right. So there you go. That's how I track what video you came from. That way people can't come in and get Litecoin from me every day. So there you go. We're going to wrap today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some value. Now's a great time to get involved in crypto. Lots of money coming in. Lots of stuff going on in the world that's looking good for crypto. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.